another gig that came out through the Linking Ring and other magic publications called Unlock the Magic with Oreo Cookies.
I need to read my Linking Ring more thoroughly. You're getting all these auditions out of it.
Well, this has been a while now. This is going back. And so that was an audition process. They needed magicians to do magic with Oreo cookies for kids. It's a big promotion to sell. So you would get a territory, and I think my territory was about a half or more, maybe 2/3 of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And you would, it was an interesting gig. You would go to a grocery store in the morning and one in the afternoon. It might be a show in the parking lot, or it might be just on the side pulling cookies out of the kid's ear to draw attention. It had a life-size cookie character, Oreo, that would go with you. One of my best buddies growing up, he was a 225-pound college rugby player, power lifter. I talked him into being my cookie for the extra money. So he would be in these supermarkets, and these women, these housewives would leave their phone number for the cookie, because he was dressed in a leotard and skin-tight white leggings with a big Oreo cookie costume showing over the top. So they would see his legs and leave their phone number. Wow. Interesting. There's got to be more material there, with the cookie. But I won't. I digress. So we did these shows, and that was a hoot. One time we were out pretty late the night before, and had a pretty good drive to our first show in the morning. And so we decided, well, we'll just go get breakfast and some coffee, and we'll drive. Won't be any traffic early morning hours. We'll get there early and just catch some Z's in the car. So we do that. That way we're not lost. It's like 2 hours to this show. We get there, middle of the night, kick our feet up. Alarm goes off on my buddy's watch, and he sits straight up, and he says, "Son of a..." And I look at him, and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "I think I forgot the costume." And I look in the back. that Oreo cookie shell, it's like a 4-foot diameter cookie that is thick enough to put over a person. It's in this big brown duffel bag. I got pulled over speeding one time with that big brown duffel bag. That's a whole other story. But anyhow, I say, "No, there's the cookie." He goes, No, I think I forgot my leotard and my tights.
Uh-oh.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, "Oh, no." So I said, well, I'm looking around. And I think it was one of the department stores like JCPenney or something, not too far from us. So we go over there shopping. I'm in there looking for a leotard and leggings.
For a 250-pound man.
Right.
And the sales girl comes over, college girl, and she says, "Hey, how you doing today?" I said, "Good. How are you?" She goes, "Can I help you with anything?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just looking here for brown leotard and white leggings." And she says, "Well, what size is your girlfriend?" I said, "You tell me." She said,
You muffled. I couldn't hear you. What was it?
I'm sorry, I was laughing. She said, "What size is your girlfriend?" I said, "You tell me." And I pointed to my 225-pound rugby player buddy standing beside me.
I can't tell. You tell me what size he is.
Yeah, so we all had a good laugh, and we bought the bodysuit and the leggings, and I didn't know what else to do. So as soon as we finished paying, I grabbed my buddy's hand and we skipped out of there.
So you're doing a podcast saying you're embarrassed to do the cookie thing, but you think he's talking about being a cookie on his podcast?
Yeah, hey, probably not. He went into real estate, so he's retired from being a cookie.
Wow. So how long did the cookie thing last?
So that was 6 weeks, and then when you were selected as part of that, you got to submit a 7-minute video of your act for a chance to perform with Harry Blackstone Jr. in Atlantic City. And you couldn't do big illusions or talking pieces, because that's Harry. You don't want to talk with Harry Blackstone anyway, right?
He had the perfect voice. Yeah.
Incredible. And I would, you could listen to him for hours. And then he had the big Grand Illusion show, so that was fine. But what was really cool is, as we just talked about, the summer before that, I was doing my Dove Act 5 times a day, 5 days a week. It was super tight, and it was about that long, 7-8 minutes. So I submitted that and was very, very honored and privileged to win that contest and perform with Harry in Atlantic City.
Wow.
Very cool.
How is he to work with?
Got to be one of the nicest human beings you ever met. I mean, the guy traveled the world, TV show, TV appearances, all the greatest theaters, Atlantic City, Vegas, 4 doctorates, spoke 13 languages.
4 doctorates? I didn't know this. What was his doctorates in? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you. I apologize. I couldn't
No,
tell you.
that's amazing. I didn't know that.
I know when we were in Atlantic City, he was speaking to the wardrobe, Vietnamese wardrobe guy, not only in Vietnamese, but in his dialect from his village.
Wow.
Which just blew my mind.
Wow. So for you guys that don't know, Harry Blackstone Jr. had a booming voice. I mean, he had the best voice in the business. You have to just look him up. Go to YouTube, type in Harry Blackstone Jr. But he was his father was one of the most famous magicians in the world, Harry Blackstone Sr., who competed with Harry Houdini for billing in theaters, and they didn't even like being in the same town together because they would fight for tickets. So it was a dynasty of magic, and Harry Blackstone reluctantly, I'm told, took over that dynasty and did really well with it, but he didn't want to do it because he had such shoes to fill with his dad.
Yeah, that voice, he'd have the whole audience in his hand. I don't care what he was talking about. You were there, imagine. He just kind of took over. Incredible.
I had a problem when I was younger, just thinking about, I had glasses. I got glasses in high school, and I'm like, man, I can never be a good magician with glasses. I got to get contacts, Mom. If I want to be a good magician, if I was a real magician, Mom, I'd be able to fix this problem right here. And I'd point to my glasses. And then I saw an old tape of Harry Blackstone. I'm like, forget it. So I have promo pictures of me in glasses at 19 years old because I'm like, if Harry could pull it off, you can do anything in magic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Super nice guy, like down to earth, just gracious, hospitable. We had a problem with the one night. There was a problem with. I was supposed to get some comp tickets for my family coming to AC to see the show. And there was a problem, so I went backstage. It was might have even been an hour and a half or so before curtain. There was a little bit of a panic, but I thought, well, I'll go see the stage manager, Alan Bracken. Went back to see Alan, and Harry had the whole crew in a meeting. They were trying to resolve troubleshoot a problem, and I felt terrible interrupting. I didn't know what to do. They saw me, and I said, well, I'll just check with Alan. You guys finish up. Harry said, no, it's fine. What do you need, John? I said, it's a ticket thing. I'll take it up with Alan. I don't want to bother you guys. And Harry said, take 5, stop the meeting. Got on the phone, called over to the the ticket window, and they were trying to figure it out, and it wasn't working. He said, well, we'll be right over. So Harry Blackstone Jr. walked me out through the theater, past the people waiting to get in to see his show, and to the window to get my family's tickets. I mean, that's the kind of guy this guy was.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.